Hey, good morning everybody. Irish Pepper 2A here, and I want to do a video. This might be a little bit longer than what I wanted it to be, but we're going to talk about being able to freeze dry food items without without an actual commercial freeze drying machine, which they run in the thousands. They're very expensive, okay? So I was doing some research and doing some experimenting on my own on how to freeze dry at home without that commercial machine, just using not a regular refrigerator. I didn't go there. I actually have a big freezer that is just that. It's just, a deep freeze. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Pan heating right now on the stove at a very low temperature. I have an electric stove. If you have a gas stove, you're going to have to experiment and find out. But as of right now, I can touch this pan. Yeah, alright, that starts to hurt. Ow, yeah. Yeah, after about 3 seconds, it starts to hurt. So, we're going to dump these in and we're going to cook this new batch of eggs without any oil or butter. Alright, so what I've been doing now is I have the electric stove. It's like on 3. As I said, guys, your mileage may vary, but watch this. 1, 2, 3. Ow. Yeah, that starts to hurt. I can keep my hand on there for about 3 to 4 seconds, and you can see those eggs are starting to solidify. They're starting to cook very low and slow. And that's the idea. Alright, we'll see what happens. I'll keep cooking these very low and slow. And move on from here. Alright guys, so these eggs are what I consider tempered. They're just shy of being done. And I scraped the pan with a metal spatula to get everything that was semi-stuck. It wasn't really stuck that bad because it was cooked so low, on such a low temperature. But yeah, that's 2 eggs right there. You can see it sticks, but we're gonna spread this out and put it in the freezer and go from there. So after cooking your eggs till they're almost done, they're just a tad bit underdone, I put them out on parchment paper and put them right in the freezer at the lowest possible setting, the coldest setting that I could get. And this is what you're going to have. Something like this, okay? And also, what you want to do is you're going to leave these in here for anywhere from 7 to 10 days, even longer if you want. There's no hard and fast rule on that, but you just want to make sure that they're really set up and flash frozen, so to speak. Alright guys, so here's just a tablespoonful of the attempted freeze-dried eggs, fresh out of the freezer, and I put them on a napkin and inside of a plastic bag right now to see if any moisture will appear as they begin to, I don't know, I guess thaw out after having been frozen for 7 days. So I'm going to let this go for a little bit until, maybe about an hour or so. And then I'm going to pull them out and expose them to the air and see if there's any color change or, any ill effects. And that should tell me that I should have a decent freeze dry. Okay guys, so we've been a little bit over an hour with the freeze-dried egg thawing out in the plastic bag on a paper towel. We're going to pull it out and see if there's any moisture evidence I don't see any condensation in there, so let's check it out. Alright, so we're out of the bag. I don't see any evidence on the bag of condensation. So here's the test batch that was in the baggie. It's tested for moisture and left this sit out. I left this sit out all night, air drying. All right, there is no bad odor, and even like your commercially bought powdered eggs, you see this starts to crumble. Into almost a powder. Okay, just like that. That's the main batch. As I said, we take out a test batch, see how it turned out. If there's any discoloration, any foul odors, anything like that. Check it first before you take everything out. And make sure that it's responding the way that you need it to be. Here's a little bit more. You see how that just crumbles into nothing, into a powder. Okay, so I do believe that we've proven that you can freeze dry without an actual commercial freeze dryer. Now, you know, I'm no expert on this. I am learning just as I'm trying to, you know, pass what I'm learning on to you all. You know, your mileage may vary. The things that I've showed you, I would have no problem eating, but, you know, my stomach might be different than yours. You know, I've eaten some wild stuff. But, you know, if you don't have a commercial freeze dryer, and you're going to attempt anything whatsoever, first off, you know, let's review some of the basics. You want to partially cook it to the point where it's almost done. All right, and start off with something cheap that's, you know, not going to be a total loss in case you make a mistake or in case your experiment goes awry. All right, cook it until it's almost done. Let it cool. You want to dice it up very small, spread it thin. That's why I started with eggs. You know, you could just like basically do a smear is what I did. And then you want to get it into that deep freeze. If you don't have a deep freeze, I've heard that you can set your regular refrigerator freezer on as cold as possible. I didn't try that, so I'm not going to, you know, make any, you know, honorable mention on it. But and then once it's done freezing, you've waited those 7 to 10, 12, 13, 14 days, however long you want it to go. Take out a small batch. You want to check for that discoloration. You want to check for bad odor. Okay. Lastly, when you take it out, you're going to let everything air dry. You know, at least 24 hours. You know, exposed to the air. And, you know, let any, you know, residual moisture evaporate. And I think that's what we've accomplished here. So I will do another follow-up video after these are prepared and it's going to be a while. It's going to take a while. You know, obviously I'm not going to wait 25 years, but I'm going to wait, you know, at least a week or so after I package this stuff up before I try to, you know, put some water in there, and then this stuff has to be cooked again. Remember, it was only partially cooked, so it's going to have to be cooked again. You know, just to finish up. You know, you're going to rehydrate the eggs, and we'll talk more about that later. You're going to rehydrate the eggs, put them in a pan, stir them around, and make those scrambled eggs. Okay, so I hope this piqued your interest, gave you some things to think about. But, if you're wondering if it's possible, yeah, I do believe it is. I do believe it is. You just have to pay attention, take careful precautions, and be thorough. All right, guys. Irish Pepper 2A, I'm going to sign off. I hope you all have a blessed day. Take care.